JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 16th of June 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So check us out here on jfdbank.com and yep, click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So now then, so yeah, I can see in the chat room here, good morning to everyone. So yep, good morning Evu, good morning Erica. Hope you're all having a wonderful start of Wednesday. Good morning to everybody else as well, yes, who has joined in and is joining in. Now guys, let's quickly run through a few of these instruments yeah, let's see what we have, kind of what they have prepared for us for today, or at least by the end of this week, maybe. Let's see. So Nikkei 225. So yes, we've traveled higher here, and this is what I said, this is what I talked yesterday about. Basically that, yes, a push above that 29,241 territory did happen, so it was great. Then we aimed for this 29,519 zone. I spoke about this level as well, and that's the reason why I had kind of previously, when I had the trend lines drawn here as well, I was talking about this level, the 29,519 as being the more important one, and you can see now why, because basically this level did its job, and or should I say continues to do its job, and does provide good resistance. We need to see a nice good clear push above that area, and we would like to see the daily candle staying above that area in order to go for some higher areas, higher levels. But for now guys, I mean, it's a little bit tricky here. Yesterday we saw the indices correcting into the downside a little bit, but don't get me wrong, I mean, today we have the Fed's decision, and yep, let's see how that's gonna play out today, guys, because again, it will be interesting to see what's going to be their tone. So yep, that's going to be late here in Europe here at around late in the evening, I would say. So be very careful then. For now, I would say yes, looking at this picture, basically it's a straightforward. For me, a straightforward situation here is that I need to see a break through the 29,519 territory here in order to get comfortable with higher levels, and I would like to see the daily candle staying above that area in order to go for the upside. But for the downside, I need to see it drop below the 28,710, 11 approximately around here, in order to consider maybe some lower areas. Hong Kong's Hang Seng, also quick update. This one's a little bit on the negative side, a little bit more on the negative side, I would say, although Nikkei is percentage-wise is losing a little bit more than the Shanghai, than the Hong Kong's Hang Seng index. But here, technically, looking at this picture, you can see that basically we broke out of this little range again through the lower side of this little range, and now it seems that we are drifting a little bit more to the downside. But however, we're currently getting a hold up near the 100-day EMA here, shown as the green line. So what I said to you previously, that in a way what we could be seeing here is, if we are going to ignore these trend lines here, let me just get rid of that one. Maybe it's a possible slightly rising channel here, which has been in play kind of from around the end of March. So at the moment we're getting a drift towards the lower side of the rising channel, and let's see if we can actually overcome the 100-day EMA here. If we can, then yes, further declines are possible here, but it's still, even so, we will be very careful because it might get us a hold up somewhere maybe around here near this downside line, or the lower side of the rising channel, which is also not far from that 200-day EMA. So basically there are a lot of obstacles on the way lower. If you want to aim for the upside, well, at least a push back above the 29,000 territory here, somewhere around here, then yeah, would be required. The German index DAX, so yesterday we closed fractionally in the green, but basically we remained near that 15,732 territory, or should I say slightly below it. And now the big question here is, can we see a bit of a correction to the downside, guys? So currently the index is trading back above that 15,732 zone. So let's see how that's going to play out. I mean, there is still hope here for the bulls that we could see a push higher, because we're currently still sitting within the rising wedge pattern, which of course, according to all the TA rules, tends to break to the downside. But again, until we get that break of the lower side of the rising wedge, we cannot really, let's say, examine this. And for now, I mean, the trend is still to the upside. So, well, I mean, let's continue aiming higher here. But again, this is where the problem is. I mean, basically, to be a little bit more on the safe side, I would actually prefer to wait for a push above the current all-time high somewhere near that 15,802.3 area, approximately around here, and then yes, higher levels could be met. So basically, if you want, given that we are here right now, we're very close to that all-time high again. So if you want to aim for the upside, wait for that pop above that barrier, above the current all-time high. If you want to go for the downside, probably the safer option is a move towards the, or I should say, to wait for a break of this lower side of the rising wedge. I know that we could be missing out on a bit of territory here, but probably that's going to be a little bit of a safer bet. DXY, the dollar index, of course, also waiting for today's decision. I mean, yesterday we saw this little choppiness here, and the index drifted here. Kind of initially to the upside, then to the downside, and then kind of ended up flat for the day. So again, today we're also a little bit on the flat side, but we're still keeping an eye on this barrier, this 90.63 zone. I spoke about that level previously, and basically, yep, you can see why, because we need that strong push above that area in order to aim for slightly higher levels, and probably it seems that the DXY could end up being somewhere around here until the decision, and or it could start being a little bit more choppy today. So be very careful with that, and yep, keep your eyes on the news, and then basically we'll take it from there. Similar story with gold. And by the way, yesterday, Evo, I have mentioned as well that well done on the 1845 level. So yep, that's a good area here. So good test. So yep, like I said yesterday, mentioned in my traders Espresso that. So yep, as you can see, gold that drifted lower, tested that 1845 territory, didn't really move a little bit lower here, but still, don't get me wrong, I mean, it did recover, but it still is a little bit on the weaker side. And also, depending on how DXY is going to perform today, well, if it pops higher here, then well, expect gold to drift lower. So yes, we managed to reach this 1845 territory beautifully, so that's good call from Evu here. Then we have had a bit of a rebound. Now my question here is, can we drift further south? And as you can see, we've climbed back above this 1856 territory. I mentioned this one previously as well. That's the low of the, or should I say, the previous low of June. And basically now let's see if we can actually drop again below it. We had a few drops like yesterday, today as well, but I'm still struggling with this hurdle. If we drop below this 1856 territory today again, then yes, I'll continue. It will continue targeting the downside. We'll aim for that 1845 territory again, but for now what I'm aiming here is this downside line, and together with this 100-day EMA shown as the green line. Now jumping into WTI oil. So WTI oil did reach my target, this 72.41 zone. So yep, as you can see, good achievement here. Now the big question here is, can we see a further move higher? Now at the moment, of course, don't get me wrong, I mean everything's looking quite positive here for the oil market, but can it actually, does it have enough steam? Well, let's wait and see, because my next target here is this 70, let me just drag this one here, the 76.88 zone, and that's the highest point of 2018. So basically there is a good indication that we could continue pushing higher as long as we stay above that 72.41 zone. And well, again, then of course, actually, let me just grab the zoom in here a little bit. So we do have this little target here. There we go, the 72.68. That's the high of the 15th of October of 2018. So what's happening here right now? Let me just quickly double check that. So yep, we are currently getting a hold up here. So there we go. That's quite interesting. So we're currently getting a hold up slightly below that. Yep, there we go. So that could be our next little target here. So yeah, I mean, let's see if this area continues to provide resistance, the 72.68, 70, approximately around there. If it does, then yep, maybe a bit of a corrective move lower here could be possible. However, to be honest, again, guys, I know that probably it's you're really looking forward maybe shorting this one, but be very careful here right now with those shorts, because again, the momentum is strong, and yep, it could continue pushing north, guys, especially if it climbs above the 78.68 territory and stays above it. And if it does that, then my next target is this 76.88 territory, marked by the highest point of October of 2018, or in other words, the highest point of 2018. Now, the way everything looks here in the oil market, if we click on the monthly chart, you can see that we are approaching a critical level here, this highest point of 2018. If we clear that, then we're actually going towards those 100s, and basically we could be getting into well, we could be getting into something like here again. So let's see how this is going to play out, of course, because if we're going to get a strong rally as we did here in 2008, well, I mean, whatever, if something goes high like this, then certainly eventually it will fall. But the only thing that I wanted to say here is that basically, be very careful. Of course, inflation right now is the topic number one. We are kind of keeping an eye on that one, and inflation right now is the one to watch. Sorry, just looked at the comment here, the 72.56, that was the high, so I readjusted that EVU. So I mean, now the level that I'm keeping an eye on is the 72.68, and that was the high of the where's that level here? The high of the 1st of October, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just no, wait, I need to jump into a daily chart here. So that's the high of the where's that area? Up. yeah, the 15th of October 2018. So now, like I said, the next target is the highest point of 2018. So I hope that's fine with you, Evo. So yeah, basically, like I said, if we climb higher here, if we climb above that 72.68 zone, then like I said, my next target is this 76.88 mark. But of course, we could start drawing some downside lines here on a bigger picture. You can see that, for example, we've broken this one a while ago, and it was beautiful. Sometimes it's worth looking at monthly charts because you can see that there was a beautiful break here. Basically, we tested that downside line. We then reversed lower, but then the next month we kind of popped higher. And now, to be honest, everything's kind of looking very, very positive here. Again, we could start drawing some tentative lines to see where maybe the next potential holdup could happen. And to be honest, if we take this one, this tentative downside line here, taken from the high of the 2nd of May, then well, we do have some room here still left. So right, coming back to the charts and to the daily chart, basically for now I would say that yes, we are keeping an eye on this 72.68 territory, the high of the 15th of October of 2018. So let's see how that's going to play out. Okay, so jumping into Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash is of course lagging a little bit here. So it is currently still trading near this downside line taken from the high of the 20th of May. Yep, at the moment, I mean, we cannot really do much here. On one hand, we do have a crypto which is trading below all of its EMAs here on the daily chart. On the other hand, we do have a crypto which is kind of trading very close to this downside line. And of course, if we look at if you look at Bitcoin, then we'll see that yep, Bitcoin is pushing higher. It has broken its similar downside line, and let's see if the other cryptos follow suit. But at the moment, I would say that I'll take a bit of a neutral stand on this one and just wait for a confirmation break. For the downside, I need to see a drop below this 541 territory, approximately around here, and then yep, lower levels could be met. Now, jumping into AUD/JPY. So this one I've mentioned, and I'll continue mentioning this one because it's quite interesting, and due to its kind of little squeeze here. So you can see that we've pushed higher on Monday. Pushed higher on Monday, and then on Tuesday, yesterday, we've corrected back down. Today, we're also again still trading above this upside line taken from the low of the 24th of March. This downside line as well is kind of providing good resistance. So basically, in other words, it's a very beautiful setup here. I do like these, but again, I like to wait for a breakout first. So let's see which way this one's going to break out. And to be honest, I think that we could see that later on today, and during the FOMC statement. So be very careful with this one, and probably just position yourself correctly and carefully, I would even actually say, and have your stop loss in place just in case this becomes very choppy. And we'll pick up on this one tomorrow. USD CHF, very quickly on this one. Again, this one did have an opportunity to push higher yesterday. It did. It did have an opportunity to stay above the 21-day EMA and above this downside line. It did not. Drifted back down. Today we're seeing another attempt to push higher. However, this 21-day EMA is still doing its job. So yep, let's see if we can actually get that push higher today. But again, like I said, a lot of will depend from how this will perform, how the statement is going to look, and and how the tone of the Federal Reserve will be. So basically for now, I'm keeping an eye on the 0.9030 here in order to go for the upside, and for the downside, my level here is around the 0.8933. So a nice good drop below it, may open the door towards some lower areas. USD/JPY, similar story. we are waiting for that. We're waiting for that kind of push above this barrier, the 110.33. If that happens, then yep, that's great. We'll aim for the highest point of March, near the 110.97, and then of course we'll take it from there. For the downside, we need to see a break of this upside line, and then a drop below the 109.20 territory right here. So yep, for now guys, again, we're also in the waiting mode here, and we want to see what's how the FOMC statement is going to look. GBP USD also is waiting for that. So but it's yesterday we managed to break the upside line here, so that was great. However, we saw the bulls kind of pushing the pair back inside this little kind of, well, we can call it a triangle, but it's not really one, but basically back above this upside line. So now we're again stuck between the lines, and yeah, we're waiting for the big move. In order to consider the downside, what I need here is a drop below that 1.40 zone to be a little bit more comfortable with, like I said, further declines. For the upside, a break of this downside line for me could be enough to aim for some higher levels. Now, Euro GBP. Euro GBP, as I mentioned before, the annoying pair. And basically, previously I talked about this level, 0.8582, but as you can see, I have to admit it didn't really work out, so it just kind of balanced around this zone and kind of drifted back to the upside. So basically, we're back in this little triangle, and basically, what I would say is that I need to redo this, and given that we have violated this line again, and we have actually even stayed below it, so this line is no longer valid. What I'm going to be keeping an eye on is probably this here, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, because as you can see, this 0.8560 territory did do its job, and they did provide good support even here on the 7th of June, although we had a bit of an overshoot here. So yeah, I'm gonna take this one, and to be honest, for now I will have to readjust here, and I'll have to see what it wants to do further. At the moment, it's just a bit of a roller coaster ride here, so to be honest, it's not really working for either of the sides, and neither for the bulls nor for the bears. For the bulls, probably more of them could join in if we get a break of this downside line, and then we push somewhere above the 0.8642 zone. And then, yeah, we'll take it from there. For the downside, I need to see that drop below this 0.8560. And finally, Euro USD. So, yep, continues to push or jump around here. Basically, we are seeing this corrective move here to the upside, and to be honest, again, all this is not really looking good here for the bulls, because in a way, depending on how this candle is going to shape up to be today, because maybe what we're seeing here is maybe a bearish flag or of some sort. But yeah, I mean, let's keep an eye on this 21-day EMA. Let's keep an eye on the upper side of the falling channel, because in a way, what could happen here today, we could have maybe a spike higher, a test of this area, and then a drift back down. So again, we've seen these happening several times, but let's be very careful. And if you're a little bit on the careful and cautious side, what you can do here is basically keep your eyes on the current lowest point of this week near the 1.2093 territory, and then yes, maybe lower levels could be met. Initially, we'll target that 100-day EMA together with the this downside line, or should I say the lower side of the falling channel, and then yeah, we'll take it from there. For the upside, I need to see a push above the 1.2161 territory. I would like to see the daily candle staying above that area in order to go for higher levels. So guys, that's it for this session. Just also wanted to mention that this week we will continue with both videos, but starting from next week, if everything stays as planned, basically we will only have the Traders Espresso, no longer will have the Traders Tea Time. But again, that will probably get confirmed as well at the beginning of next week. So yep, just to kind of let you know. So yeah, we'll just continue with the morning videos. But yeah, for now, guys, I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, your comments, especially. So yep, thank you very much for joining in, and yeah, join me later on today at my Traders Tea Time, as always. As always at 12:30 GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop loss in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.